Imagine that you're in a dream and you're having a nightmare and something happens, there's a glitch, and you wake up and you realize that, oh my God, I'm dreaming. At the point when you realize that you're dreaming, is either you can create the kind of experience you want to have and start having a good dream instead of a nightmare, or you could panic at the fact that you're stuck in a dream because you now realize that you're dreaming. So to me, when we come to the realization that life is just a dream and we're in a dream with other dreamers, and the ones who are aware that they're dreaming are the ones that are manipulating and influencing the reality, and the ones who are unaware that it is a dream is manifesting for others against their own will.
Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. So this video is about the full moon lunar eclipse that's happening on May 5th. And there's 5 things that I would like to share with you about this full moon lunar eclipse energy. So the first thing I want to share is the numerology. So the numerology is the first thing. And the full moon lunar eclipse is happening on May 5th, and the number 5 energy is repeated. So May is the 5th month, and the number 5 energy brings sudden and unexpected changes. I think about how chaos helps to birth magic. Because without chaos, we're stuck on this hamster wheel. We're stuck within these systems. And talk about system, the energies in the day adds up and reduces to number 8 vibration. And the number 8 energy is a systematic energy. And systems could be beneficial, but systems aren't beneficial when that's the only thing that we're focused on and we're not open to change. I think about system without change is a circle, and system where there is change is a spiral. So system without change is just a circle. System with change is a spiral. And that brings me to Plutarian energy and how Plutarian energy deals with death and rebirth. And it's a transformative energy. So you guys, the last videos that I just did, my nose was itching like nobody's business. And I'm always open to new perspectives and opinions and things like that. And somebody in the comments once said, put vinegar on your nose. And when I saw it, I dismissed it. But then I thought maybe the itch could be because, I don't know, you know how sometimes you press your nose up and things will come out of it? That doesn't happen, but I'm open. So I'm like, well, maybe my nose is itching and maybe, I should try the vinegar. And I did just put some vinegar on my nose before this video and it's still itching. So I'm open to trying new things, but whoever suggested that, that doesn't work. So I'll take it that maybe the itching of the nose does deal with channeling or some kind of intuitive thing or whatnot. But anyways, back to the video. So yes, the numerology, the energies in the day adds up and reduces to number 8 vibration. And the number 8 is a systematic energy that deals with systems and cycles. And whenever we're into a system and cycle and doesn't, and we're not open for change, then, you know, we're stuck in a loop. But then when we're open for change, there's a spiral. You know, we're transforming, we're evolving. So when it comes to this full moon energy, change and evolution is important when it comes to, is important when it comes to everything. But that's coming up with the number 5 energy repeated, and the number 8 with the energies adding up and reducing to the number 8. And this is the 7th year. So 2023 adds up and reduces to the number 7 vibration, and the number 7 deals with introspection, and it deals with spiritual growth, spiritual change. With the number 7 energy, I think about sacrifice and how we'll go through things that forces us to make sacrifices in order for us to grow spiritually. So within a 7 year, you could find yourself feeling challenged as you are being forced to go within to strengthen your spiritual, you know, your spiritual growth. So when I think of, say, the month and the day adding together and reducing to number 3 vibration, the month, you know, being the 5th month, and then the month number 5 plus 2023 adds up and reduces to number 3 vibration. And with that number 3 energy, that's like a childlike, creative, expressive energy that causes us to feel restless sometimes. So restless to the point that we jump into things for the sake of jumping into them and not fully seeing things through till the end. So when I think about all of that, you know, with the full moon, total lunar eclipse energy, some things can come to an end and it feels like some sudden event, but really there were things leading up to that energy, you know, leading up to that change. The full moon is at 14 degrees. And when I think of the number 14 degrees, the number 5 is repeated again because 1 plus 4 is 5. But the number 1 deals with the individual. The number 4 deals with stability. So some change needs to happen within the individual in order to create stability. So this brings me to the second thing that I want to share with you. And when it comes to the second thing I want to share with you is, you know, about, say, what happens when we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So a full moon is when the sun and the moon are at opposing degrees. So the sun and the moon are at the same exact degrees in opposite signs. So we have the moon in Scorpio and we have the sun in Taurus. So from that opposition is a full moon. It's like the moon is the inner world and the sun is the identity, and there's a fight between the inner world and the identity. It's like there's a fight between what's happening within us and what's happening, you know, what's happening around us, or who we identify as and what we feel on the inside. So I think of, say, a person that might identify as a certain kind of person based on their family history or the family name or expectations of the family, but on the inside there's someone else. Like I think of the person who on the inside, they want to pursue a spiritual path, a spiritual calling, or a creative path or a creative calling. But then when it comes to their identity, the father's legacy and things like that is something that's more professional, and they feel a struggle because, you know, they feel like it's their responsibility to go the professional route, but on the inside they want to go the spiritual creative route. So I think about that opposition that a person will experience. And when it comes to, say, a full moon in Scorpio energy, and this is just not any full moon, this is a powerful full moon because it's a lunar eclipse. I consider this full moon energy as a dark night of the soul moon. And a full moon in Scorpio energy, whenever the moon is in Scorpio, for me anyways, I always feel it if there is any unresolved issues within me at that time. Because whenever the moon is in Scorpio and you have any unresolved issues that you're dealing with, this moon will cause you to do shadow work, because you'll experience a dark night of the soul experience, in the sense that, to me, dark night of the soul moments happen when the mind and the heart is out of alignment. Where the mind, to me, is like that circle keeping us within a loop, and the heart is a spiral helping us to evolve and transform. So the mind is going to want us to stick to things that are familiar, to things that we were told, to things that are collective agreements. If other people agree, if enough people agree, it's a fact as far as the mind is concerned. but the heart wants us to have new experiences. The heart wants us to try new things. So whenever we're at a crossroads and the heart and the mind are struggling because the heart wants to try new things and the mind is like, no, stay here. This is where it's safe. This is where we'll experience that dark night of the soul battle. So when it comes to, say, the full moon energy in Scorpio, Scorpio deals with our psychology. Scorpio deals with our need to be in control. Scorpio deals with our sexuality. Scorpio deals with, say, passive income, multiple streams of income, contracts, legalities, the banking system. So Scorpio deals with things that aren't, that things that control this realm on an invisible level, occult, divination, all of that. So Scorpio deals with things that control this realm on a invisible level, an unseen level. And that's being opposed by, say, the sun in Taurus, and also Mercury is there and Uranus is there. And when it comes to, say, all of that energy, that ties into, say, things that we're experiencing on a physical level. So there's a fight between what is seen and the unseen when it comes to, say, a full moon in Scorpio. And something needs to come to an end when it comes to, say, our need for control. Something might need to come to an end when it comes to, say, a contract. Some kind of a contract is coming to an end. Some kind of a legal agreement is coming to an end. Some kind of something about one's psychology might be coming to an end when it comes to, say, a full moon in Scorpio energy. This brings me to the third thing that I want to share with you, which is the challenges. And when it comes to, say, the challenges having to do with a full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, I think about the opposition. It's like a person might feel like it's them against the world when it comes to this energy. Them against the world in the sense that, say, if you're dealing with some insecurities around this full moon energy, you might feel completely insignificant and experience a whole lot of shame based on where you are in life in comparison to where you think you should be, based on the social norms or the collective agreements when it comes to, say, definitions for success. So if you're not there, and even if you are there in the eyes of others, for whatever reason, if you don't feel like it, a lot of shame can happen when it comes to this full moon energy. So to me, those are some of the challenges one will feel, because with Mercury in retrograde and Taurus, Mercury in retrograde and Taurus with the sun, Uranus, and also to the sun, Uranus, Vesta, and also the where is it? And also the North Node. I know it's there, but I just wanted to make sure, because the way how it's laid out, it looks like it's in Aries, but I know it didn't get there yet, but I just wanted to be sure. But anyways, with all that action happening in Taurus energy, it's like Taurus energy deals with the image. So there's so much pressure when it comes to one's image. And because of the image, the mind is in a place where it wants to conserve, it wants to preserve the image. But the inner world wants to have freedom, wants to have control over oneself, over one's life, and, over one's experience. And because of that will be that struggle, that back and forth between how the world sees me, what the world thinks of me, family, legacy, traditions, values, and what I want for me, and how out of control a person might feel in relation to that, or some challenges when it comes to this full moon energy. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is what is unexpected when it comes to this energy. So I feel like some unexpected things that come about or may come about when it comes to this energy, to me, are blessings, in the sense that some people might come to the realization that, say, I think of a person who is trying to hold on to a business that just is sucking their last. And financially, it's like every month they're literally borrowing or overdrafting to keep things going. And it's so clear it's time to cut their losses. And the pride of being seen as a business owner, or whatever the situation may be, is what's keeping a person, sticking through when it's clear they're going, they're going against the resistance because this thing needs to come to an end. And from this thing coming to an end, this is where new things will come into their lives. So I get a person coming to the realization that, I need to get out of this contract. That might be something for somebody. And a contract for another person might be a divorce. Like, okay, this isn't working anymore. I need to get out of this contract. But when I think about, say, the opposition, it's like someone coming to a realization that something they might be holding on to in order to keep up a certain image, or holding on to for the sake of family values and traditions. It's like they can't bear the cross of that anymore. They can't bear the burden of that anymore, and is deciding to throw in the towel. And it's like, or maybe their hand is being forced and something is coming to an end, whether you want it or not. But then you'll realize that this is the best thing that could have ever happened for you. I think of someone releasing control and surrendering. And from releasing control and surrendering, what you've always wanted starts happening. Because it brings me to say, for me, when it comes to manifestation, and how I was able to manifest things whenever I was not focusing on the thing. It's like me wanting to control how the thing will come into my life, or obsessing over the thing. It would never happen. And whenever things happened for me, I was always focused on something else. And it wasn't because I knew to do that. It's just because I wanted the thing, and for whatever reason, I detached, because maybe I thought, I detached from it. Maybe I thought, it's not going to happen anytime soon, or maybe I didn't want it anymore. And then I started focusing on something else, and then the opportunity presented itself, because I wasn't I wasn't trying to control anything. I wasn't holding on so tight. So I feel like that might be something that comes up, where it's like a person realized, like, wow, you release control of something, and now something else is coming to an end that's making space for this new thing. Because the longer it takes for us to cut our losses when it comes to things that aren't working in our lives, it takes even longer for new things to come in, because we're wasting time and energy not cutting our losses when it comes to whatever it is that's not working, that we're trying to hold on so tightly to. So when it comes to the fifth thing that I want to share with this energy is the blessings that will come in from the blessings, and how to make the most of this full moon energy. When it comes to the blessings, this takes me to the end of every dark night of the soul experience. And at the end of every dark night of the soul experience, there's always this sense of this feeling of freedom. There's this liberating feeling that comes at the end of every dark night of the soul moment. It's like, say, during the dark night of the soul moment, you're panicking about something because you're wondering what everybody will think. You're wondering what everybody will say. And finally, you surrender and you realize it doesn't even matter. And then from surrendering, realizing that it doesn't even matter, it's like you feel so liberated and free as the burden falls off of you, because the mind is no longer holding on to a thought that, and it's like the thought alone was creating all this pain and pressure. And just from releasing that, you feel so much lighter. You feel so free. So whatever comes to an end, whether it's sudden or unexpected, or you knew it would come to an end because you participated in it, there will be this freeness, this sense of freeness and liberation that comes from this thing coming to an end. And when it comes to, say, our need to be in control, and just the fear that we experience because of lack and not enough and feeling insignificant and all of that, it brings me to a thought that I've been reflecting on, that I've been sharing in the videos that I've made recently. And it's like, imagine that you're in a dream and you're having a nightmare, and something happens, there's a glitch, and you wake up and you realize that, oh my God, I'm dreaming. At the point when you realize that you're dreaming, is either you can create the kind of experience you want to have and start having a good dream instead of a nightmare, or you could panic at the fact that you're stuck in a dream because you now realize that you're dreaming. So to me, you know, when we come to the realization that life is just a dream and we're in a dream with other dreamers, and the ones who are aware that they're dreaming are the ones that are manipulating and influencing the reality. And the ones who are unaware that it is a dream is manifesting for others against their own will. So once you, the dreamer, realize that you're dreaming, now you can create the experiences that you want. Now you realize that whatever emotions you feel, because the best thing that can happen within the dream is not real. And the worst thing that can happen within the dream is not real. So when you realize the best and the worst things that can happen within the dream are not real, you realize that nothing is personal. Yes, now you can panic at the fact that it's a dream and want to wake up. But then what if when you wake up, you just wake up into another dream and keep waking up into another dream? So instead of panicking and fighting to wake up, you enjoy the dream and you create reality according to your own terms, but you keep in mind that you're dreaming. Because when you keep in mind that you're dreaming as you create reality according to your own terms, then you spiral and you evolve and you keep waking up to new aspects of yourself, opposed to, say, you know, the person that's going around in circles having the same experiences over and over again. So when it comes to, say, the blessings having to do with this energy, I think of Plutonian energy as that spiraling energy where we're evolving, we're transforming. And like a seed, a stem growing through the soil, it's like it's spiraling through the soil and making its way up to the sun. Where I think when we become aware that, wow, this is a dream and I'm experiencing a dream with other dreamers. Not all of the dreamers know that it's a dream, but the ones who are awoke in the dream are manipulating the dream. And those are the ones that I have to be aware of, because, you know, they might have me manifesting against my will, but because I know that I am dreaming, I decide what I will manifest. I decide the kind of experiences that I will have. And those who are unaware that this is a dream, it is not my job to wake them. Because if I try waking them, they might wake up and freak out and panic and have a horrible experience as they wake up and realize it's a dream and feel claustrophobic in it. And then it turns into a prison for them. So when I look at, say, the dark night of the soul experiences that can come from the full moon energy, it's like we wake up to certain truth about ourselves and we come to certain realizations, but it is not our responsibility to get others to see that truth or to get others to come to that realization. But if others ask, then we share. But when it comes to, say, making the most of this energy, to me, making the most of this energy by being open and releasing everything that's coming to an end, learning to cut our losses, making the most of this energy by realizing that I am a dreamer inside of a dream. And waking up to the dream means that every emotion that I feel or everything I perceive as good as or bad is a choice. And once I wake up to that and I am aware of that, when it comes to, say, the opposition of the moon, which is everything happening in Taurus, I become aware that my values is something that I've learned, that's been conditioned. And from my values, I develop a psychology to protect the values. So when I change my values, I change my psychology, because my values, you know, my psychology is to protect my values. So now I realize, okay, these values that I've had are a roadmap. They're guiding me. The values that I've had in the past have gotten me to right where I am now. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to diet, lifestyle, spirituality, all of that are a reflection of my values. So how have those values worked for me? I don't like this one, that one, and the next. So it's like I go in and I, you know, redefine values when it comes to all aspects of my life. And then from me redefining the values, especially with Mercury retrograde helping me to reflect on these values, when I reflect on the values that I've had and how they've served me, or the collective values and how they serve humanity, and then from there I create my own values. From me creating my own values comes with new psychology, because my psychology will protect my values. So I think about how the major eclipse that we had recently was in Aries, which brought a new beginning when it comes to our appearance and how we want to be seen. So based on our appearance and how we want to be seen, there's values that comes with that. And now with this major full moon in Scorpio energy, something is coming to an end with our psychology, because now we need to develop a new psychology to protect the new values that we have. And that's something that I presented to a friend because I wanted her to debate a thought that I was having. And the thought that I was having is that the values come first and then the psychology comes to defend the values. And I was debating myself back and forth, and then I wanted to present it to someone else to poke holes in it. But I still stick with that. Because when I presented it to my friend was like, oh, like that's too much to think of right now and something else. But she was like, it's a chicken or egg situation. But then I take it back to the natal wheel and how Taurus is the opposition of Scorpio, and Taurus comes before Scorpio. And with Taurus, it's the values. You know, Aries is the self, the I am, then Taurus is the values. But by the time we get to the 8th house to Scorpio, it's the psychology that keeps all of that going. So I think about in society, we're all programmed. Everything we've known up until the point where we started questioning those things that we've been told, you know, those were given to us. And then from the images that we were given to live up to, we developed psychologies to keep those going. So now with this energy and the blessing and how to make the most of it is to reflect on the values that you have and ask yourself, are these values working for me? Are they getting me what I want? Do I like what I have right now? Am I happy with where I am right now? Compared to where I've been, am I happy with where I am right now? And if you're unhappy with any aspect of your life, it's a reflection of values that are out of alignment with your heart. And that's where the whole dark night of the soul comes in. So when you create new values, now you develop new psychology around those values. So yeah, the blessings to me when it comes to this is we get to see what's not working. And like I always say, pain is a bookmark that holds space for our transformation. Discomfort signals change, because it's when we see what's not working, we realize that, okay, you know, something needs to be done. And that's when we step in and make proper changes. So when it comes to this whole dark night of the soul moon, I hope you're able to surrender. I hope you're able to allow yourself to evolve like a spiral, like a stem, you know, coming from a seed and moving through the soil for the sun, opposed to, say, going in circles like a hamster on a wheel and stuck within a loop. Because when I think about the mind isn't set up for us to think our way out of certain things. I find for me, it's through feeling my way out of certain things. It's through feeling I'm able to feel my way out of certain things. And then I use my mind to interpret what I'm feeling. So it's like when it comes to, say, the feelings, it's like the heart. I use the heart to guide me. And then I use the mind to interpret the experience of the heart. And I say feelings when I'm speaking about the heart sometimes, because yeah, it's a feeling for me, you know. But yeah, when it comes to all of this energy, it's like recognize that you are the dreamer inside of a dream. And once you realize you're the dreamer inside of the dream, you realize that you're the most powerful person that you know, and you're the most powerful person that you know. Because only you can create your reality. You guys, this was part 1 of the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Part 2 will be available on Patreon, where I go into your sun, moon, and rising placements and how those will be influenced by the full moon energy, Mercury retrograde energy. It was such a pleasure sharing this message with you. If you would like to book a reading with me or check out my exclusive content only on Patreon, the links for that is in the description box below. But please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a pink heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you and look forward to seeing you in another video. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.